back to the sequel. In the last video, I shared my new Fujifilm Recipe Vaporwave Pastel. I loved how that film recipe looked during golden hour, but I wanted to find something that was similar that popped at night. So in this video, I'm going to share a modified version of that recipe made best for shooting at night. I call it Vaporwave Neon. Before I share the recipe, I want to share what the recipe looks like in comparison to a standard film simulation on Fujifilm cameras. Astia is the main film simulation that I use, and as you can see, this recipe makes a huge change in the look. The green turns turquoise, and the white lights turn hot pink. This is one of my top 5 favorite shots from this recipe. Here you can see a scene that is mostly one color of white light and how Vaporwave Neon turned it pink. I like the scene showing how the purple turned hot fuchsia and the white lights on the left turned into a soft pink. I like how the Vaporwave Neon turns pink, purple, and a little bit red in this shot. Here I like how this simple scene has a pink warm glow, whereas the original felt stale and mundane. I like what the recipe does to the water in this shot. And on a very foggy and misty night, the Vaporwave Neon makes all the sky pink. I like how the street lights in the sky glows pink in this shot, and how the lights turn into a bright white hot pink on the bottom in this scene. And if you can find some water using this recipe, I love how the water turns into this pink metallic glow. Overall, the city at night gives a cyberpunk type of feeling. Here I love how the lights inside the building have this kind of blood orange feel to them. Now, I said this film recipe was made primarily for night, but I wanted to share a few examples where I think it can be fun during the daytime. So this is one of the original shots from the Vaporwave Pastel video. The Astia simulation has a very typical blue and orange look, whereas the neon is just hot pink and a little bit of purple. It's very similar in this shot, but it's mostly pink and the purple is much more subtle. I loved how this looked after the sun had set during blue hour. Or during the evening on Maui, it turned the whole sky pink and a little bit purple. Or how it turned this old 50s diner into a cyberpunk looking joint. And here are a few of those same day shots comparing Vaporwave Neon versus Vaporwave Pastel for comparison. Here you can see that Pastel has more of a peach orange look to it, whereas the neon is mostly just hot pink. Pastel almost looks normal in this shot, but it still does lean more into that peach or soft pink look, whereas the Vaporwave Neon is just bright pink in your face. The Pastel has very little detail or color in the waves, whereas Neon, your eye is drawn to both the sky and to the lake. Here again, the Pastel is more soft and subtle, whereas the Neon is very loud. Overall, it really depends on your preference and how loud or subtle you want to be in the shot. And overall, I do like Neon for night and Pastel more for day or golden hour times. So now I will share my recipe settings for Vaporwave Neon. Please note again that I designed this based off of the cameras and sensors that I own, so I haven't tested it on older camera models. So this is made for the X-Trans-V sensor, which is cameras like the X-H2S, X-T5, X-H2, XS20, or X100 Mark VI. The film simulation I used was classic negative. I used grain at weak and large. I turned the color chrome effect to off, and for the color chrome effect for blue, I turned it to weak. The white balance I set to auto for this because this is largely at night. And here's the most important part, you choose the white balance shift at +9 for red and +9 for blue. Next, I usually keep the DR at auto or 100. Highlight I have at -2, shadow at -2, color at +2, sharpness at -2, high ISO noise reduction at -2, and clarity at -5. That's really what gives it that kind of blooming, glowy look at night. So just to compare against the Pastel recipe, you can see the main difference between these two is looking at the white balance shift. You have it at red and blue at +5, and the white balance was set to shade. Most of the rest of the settings are pretty similar, but that's the biggest difference between the two. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you try out this recipe and get some awesome shots. We'll see you on the next episode.